currently, last Saturday, October 11th, the Antifa and the Black Bloc, the so-called Schwarzer Bloc, were destroying the city center of Bern, our capital city in Switzerland. As you can see here, the police was confronted with lots of violence from these so-called demonstrators because first, the entire thing was unauthorized. The authorities of the city of Bern, together with the police commission and everything, they didn't authorize this demonstration. Nevertheless, they came anyway to create a lot of chaos and damage on private property. Around 18 people were injured, at least 18 people, and a lot of money was burned because they use a lot of police force to keep those very aggressive so-called protesters, so-called activists, which are actually left-wing extremist groups, Antifa, which now has been declared a terrorist organization in certain countries, but not in our country, not in Switzerland. Here, they can protest, even unauthorized. Does this look like protest to you? In this video, we will cover the entire thing, the time lapse, what was going on, how the events were developing, and what was the reaction of the police? How many people could they take in custody? And can they now file some charges against these people? How is the situation with the political backup? We're going to find out right now. Let's go. As you can see here, they are attacking the police from two sides. This must be the head of the procession. Because we can see here the banner, they have the banner. And the people on the left side, let's watch it. Let the camera go over there. Here, see? They're just standing around. So these people are attacking the police from two sides. Now, of course, they're also criticizing the police now. The police should not be able to protect themselves according to them. I don't know exactly what they expect, especially when you have an unauthorized demonstration.
C'est la révolution là.
Polizeigewalt gibt's in der Schweiz nicht. Live-Beweis. Live-Beweis. Komm weg von da!
You could clearly see now that the head of the procession was pushing through and advancing because those guys from the back were distracting the police by throwing tables at them. And it was very interesting, in particular, what the woman which is filming here, she's hiding. She tells, go away, stay away from the windows. So she's kind of hiding in a hiding position. But nevertheless, the comment that she made here was, she said, police violence, police force in Switzerland is not existing, in a sort of sarcastic way. And she was saying, like, this is the live evidence here that it does exist. So these policemen defending themselves here is wrong in their eyes. They think the police should not defend themselves. I personally think that the police should have much stronger means to shut these type of violence, these type of violent protests, which are not really a protest. It's not a demonstration. It's not a peaceful demonstration. It's like a free pass for violence. That's what it is for these people. So some of those leftists, like the woman who is filming here, they think that this is police violence when the police is defending themselves. And I personally think, as I look at this, that the police is actually controlling themselves. They could be much more forceful. Let's put it this way. They don't really attack the people. They just defend themselves. You could see it very nicely here. When they had the chance to hit people, they didn't do it. Look, here, this guy, look. He's just pushing him away. You saw this? Here, he could now hit on him. Look, he pushes him away. Here, now he could hit him. Now he could strike him with more hits. For instance, that's just one moment. He don't do it, just pushes him away. The guy runs off and they let him go. They don't chase him, they don't go after him, they don't hit him like, you know? See, and then they form again to be aware of the situation and to it's this to me is a typical defense action. So it all started in the afternoon at the railway station of the city of Bern, which is, as I mentioned, the capital city of Bern. People were forming there and they were marching to the Bundesplatz, the federal square just in front of the federal building, where the entire federal council is actually seated at. So demonstration in Switzerland, we are very liberal and we are a direct democracy. So you can actually protest at the federal square if it's authorized and if it's peaceful. Now this one was unauthorized, but the take that the city police of Bern have is they first let it happen and see how it develops. If it should develop peacefully, of which the chance is rather small concerning that it is Antifa, it was a free Palestine a demonstration. So yeah, the chance that it would develop peacefully, but of course there is a theoretical, there is a chance. So the police said, let it develop first and then we will take actions if needed. And they were constantly checking the situation. Now, at first it started somehow more peaceful, although here we can clearly see at the head of the procession, they have the banner here, death to the and also resistance until liberation. They still call terrorist attacks resistance. And they speak about liberation. For them, 7th of October was a liberation day, I guess. So this was at 1543. Of course, all the people here are masked. They have their face all hidden and covered. A lot of them have their hoodies on. Now, the way they walk around, also with the umbrellas, right? They keep the umbrellas, and they were dressed completely in black. So it was Antifa and the Black Bloc. But who was also, of course, participating were people of the political party, the Social Party, the SP, of course, and also the president of the party was also there. I guess not here with the Black Bloc, but somewhere behind. So they started this march to the Federal Square. The police let them walk. Of course, what they were shouting, there is only one solution, Intifada revolution. Now they're calling for a global Intifada. That's what they do. Because the thing is also here, they protest for Palestine, right? They protest against Israel. Mainly because now is actually the moment where the IDF is retreating out of Gaza to a certain degree. And the war is actually over. So why the hell are they still protesting? And the thing is, they're not protesting, or on the other side, they don't care. They will now just call for a global intifada. It's not that it's over for them. Because, from the river to the sea, Palestine, that's what they also were chanting. So Palestine will be free, so actually calling for an actual genocide of the Jewish people. I mean, it's unbelievable. They're calling for a global intifada, which is something like a global war, the Muslim against any other beliefs. Of course, the Christians, who are the most persecuted in the entire world. Okay, so now the protesters have arrived at the Federal Square. you can see, you know, people with their backpacks. The guy here with this bag, with this red bag here, stuff they carry around. Everybody is masked. They wearing helmets, black helmets. Even the she goggles, everything. They're you can see they are up to no good. This guy looks out of place here, and also the look on his face is like, where did I end up now? I just wanted to protest peacefully. Also, these two, they're just in the middle of this. So at 4:18 o'clock, over 5,000 people on the Federal Square. This is the Federal Square. Behind here, we have the building of the Federal Council, which was blocked with fences, and the police was already there. Okay, now the plan of the police was so far like, we let it develop. Now they saw that at the head of the procession, there were some people who are ready for violence. Already they put a lot of like graffiti on the walls and destroyed windows and stuff like that. So they started to be a bit violent already. So the police thought, okay, let's let them march from the railway station to the Federal Square. We let them, you know, just everybody arrive at the Federal Square, and that's it. That's it. We're going to tell them the unauthorized protest is now finished. It's done. We will not tolerate any more actions. So from the Federal Square, you can see it here. There are several roads and alleyways and alleys in all directions. So the police was also locking those alleyways and those small roads, or more or less small roads, so that it cannot spread more and that they can't march on. It has to be stopped at the Federal Square. Now, that was the moment where things really took off. The city police of Bern also put out this tweet here, telling that, you know, especially as I mentioned, at the head of the procession, there is violence breaking out, and a police force is being attacked, and we have to react. Now, what they did, and they tell the people to leave now and don't go to this protest anymore. Now, what they started to do here is use the water thrower, these trucks here, who is like a water cannon, right? They had tear gas, which they used. So at 15 o'clock, we had already the escalation. So this is the blockade that I was telling you about. This was the road where then the protesters were trying to break through. Here you can see a lot of graffiti and these paint bags that they throw around. So as it really escalated, the protesters, the Antifa terrorists, started to set things on fire. Let's have a look. So you can see it here, more fires were erupting because as the head of the process was kind of surrounded by the police, they started to escalate even more, throwing a lot of paved stones and, setting things on fire here. Because the police was now then starting to surround them and go closer and, you know, start the complete breakdown and start to arrest people. So at 6 o'clock, a fraction of the Antifa mob was also trying, they make their way through to the railway station back again, and they wanted to occupy the railways, so that they could also block the entire train system, because Bern is a very important railway station. So at 8:15 they reported that they still being attacked very massively at certain spots in the city. So you can see here they are experienced in this, huh? They know how to get some shields in the city against water cannons, water throwers from the police. So at around 5 o'clock, the violence against the police was really escalating. And there you can see that these people really came to the city just for this. They didn't want to protest peacefully or something. They just want to cause violence and, you know, let their anger out, let their hate out. Okay, this is from the other side. This is the blockade of the police here. Now here we can see this is the blockade of the police that we saw before from the front side. Now this is behind at the side of the police, and we can see here people are trying. They're throwing paved stones. Was this just a guy flying through? So shortly before 7 o'clock, the violence was still going on. Some more fires erupted. You see here ACAB, anarchy, free Gaza, all the signs of these left-wing extremist organizations. There are terrorist groups. In my eyes, really, things have changed a lot. Things have changed a lot. You see a lot of the destruction which was going on. Just some property. I mean, these are just shops or restaurants or whatever. They don't have anything to do with Gaza. But, you know, their stores just get destroyed. Their property just get destroyed. So here we see a tweet from 640. Our forces are still being attacked, in particular also with laser. They now also started to use laser to attack the police. This is maybe not so very well visible in the videos, in the clips. And there was a massive property damage being done. We are still forced to use our means. With their means, what they mean is the water thrower, the tear gas. They don't have much more. They don't have much more. And they do not have the necessary backing of the politicians to have more and better, you know, like more persuasive means to work against these violent and evil forces. A new trick that they also have is drones. The Antifa now is recording everything with drones. You can see it here. Then they publish this at with some YouTube videos, social media videos. This is the Amtsgasse, the blockade of the police. Here you can see the water thrower. That gives them an advantage, a tactical advantage. Because they, from above, they can see it very well. Because here in these narrow streets, you don't know what's going on in the other street. But if they have drones operating and some sort of communication, they have a very good advantage. They have actually the better overview than the police. Look at this here. With the drones, they could actually see exactly what's going on all the time. So here's the end. That's the end of the protest. Now here they have also like some sort of live stream. They did a live stream of this. They actually did a live stream of this. Let's hear.
Free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
Okay, I can't. It's disgusting. And then free, free Palestine. Shouting this at the moment where the war in the Gaza was already over. There was no more war in Gaza. At the moment where this was being committed.
Wir sind ja ohne grosse Abonnenten. I'm not immigrants.
Crazy. Let me see what comes later here. Here. think this here, this yellow, that could be the place, the video, the clip that we saw at the beginning.
Maybe here. It is your here.
Insane. This is disgusting, really. It is disgusting. Really. So then at 7 o'clock, even 4 hours after the protest has started, more than 1,000 people were demonstrating at the railway square. They moved from the railway station to the Federal Square and then back to the railway station, where they just protested at the railway square. So at around 7:30, the protest, the entire thing was slowly dissolving, and but then the police would start to do a crackdown on the people, mainly on this violent core, right? The head of the procession, and they were starting to arrest those people one by one. So took a lot of time. So at 10:40 at night, the police was putting out this tweet here that, the unauthorized demonstration has now been stopped. It's over. Traffic can run again normally, but they're still present. So the summary or the takeaway here is like, it don't matter if the war has stopped or not. These people will still protest and try to cause chaos and harm the police, attack the police, and commit violence and property damage. Like just unhinged. And even though here, I'm pretty sure in this protest, young people were there, people who just wanted to protest peacefully. Some kids, I'm sure there were kids involved. But, certain people, they just were just there to cause violence and were just there to cause chaos and commit violence against the police. And the police, on the other hand, their hands are sort of tied. They did what they can. They used their means, which they have. But, like only the water thrower and some tear gas is maybe not enough. They should have more backup, political backup, from the city president, from all these people, but they are too left. They are too green. They are too left to really support the police in their cause. And, it should not even come to this point. It should not have even come to this point. They told the Antifa organizers up front, it's not authorized. So I don't know, why do they have to let them go and say like, yeah, you can still do your thing and we will watch how it develops. If you escalate, then we will react. But they should be able to prevent and not only react. It's not the police fault. They did a good job. Not many people were damaged, were injured. Now, of course, they're being criticized. And police violence, there was no police violence, man. Come on. This is not police violence. Now we have everything. They have drones and everything. We have everything documented. There was no police violence. This was all appropriate. Actually, no. In my opinion, the police should be able to react stronger to this or prevent this in a stronger fashion. What I also found very interesting is in the clips and also on these pictures where we can see the graffiti and everything, I heard French, the French language. People were speaking French, and some of the graffiti was written in French, Zionist, instead of Zionist. So I think, people came, of course, from the French part of Switzerland, yes, from Lausanne, for instance, where we just had some riots some days back. But these were a bit different type of riots. But I believe these people, they go to all type of demonstrations and where you have possible violent breakouts and attacks on the police to be expected. These people will participate. But I'm sure some people crossed the border and came from foreign countries, came from other countries, just for this event, for this attack on the capital of Switzerland. Yeah, and one very frustrating thing is that I just read that over 500 people were arrested by the police, but they couldn't keep any of them. They cannot, file a charge or something against those people. According to the law, they just have to let them go. They could annoy them for a few hours and take them in custody and everything. And of course, identify them, at least this. Take the names and addresses and everything. That's also important, get the knowledge, get the information, the intel that they need. But still, they couldn't keep anyone in custody. They had to let them all go. Now, please let me know in the comment section, what do you think? Should the police be able to act with more force or prevent from a stronger standpoint, in a stronger fashion? Was this like police violence against civilians without a reason, or was this a just defense? What do you say? Please let me know in the comment section, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and if you think this is interesting, please watch the video that I'm showing you right now here, because this is about the riots in Switzerland which took place in Lausanne. A bit earlier this year, was not so long ago, because this is a channel which is just very young. It was shortly created, and we already reported on these riots in Lausanne, and now we had to report on this violent so-called protest for the so-called Palestine. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.